First World Congress Against Sexual Exploitation of Children in Stockholm. And it's already been 12 years since Stockholm, and ECPAT has been monitoring the progress of the countries and how we have been implementing the agreements that were made in Stockholm. Unfortunately, in spite of some significant progress, the fact remains that so many children are still being sexually exploited. And this is why we welcome this initiative, because I think what we have to understand is that sexual exploitation is not something that can be solved within the term of one parliamentarian. The parliaments of the world, the governments of the world have to understand this is a very complex problem that needs concentrated attention for a longer period of time if we're going to see results. This year, we have the support of the Brazilian government to have the World Congress 3 against the sexual exploitation of children and adolescents, which will be held in Brazil. And we're hoping that the European Parliament will support this initiative by making a very strong presentation at the World Congress, as well as helping to support initiatives all over the world to make sure that we really are able to make more children free from the dangers of child sex tourism and sexual exploitation of children.
The European Commission is absolutely aware that we have to take steps forward. And we are absolutely aware that too many child victims are still exploited all over the world and all over Europe, of course. Vice President Frattini was very clear on many occasions on this subject that this is a high priority within the EU policy. We are aware that the legal framework should be strengthened, and we are exploring seriously the possibility to strengthen the EU legislation on sexual exploitation of children. A step forward has been taken with the Council of Europe Convention on Sexual Exploitation of Children, allowing reservation only in the case of habitually resident perpetrators, not allowing anymore reservation for nationals who commit this kind of crime. Of course, when I said that we are exploring the possibility of strengthening the legislation of the EU acquis on sexual exploitation of children, of course, I think about the possibility to take a step forward in the field of jurisdiction to prosecute sexual offenders, people traveling for sex tourism.
Protect as not a police entity, but very experienced in the sexual exploitation of children, subsequently liaised with Cambodian and international authorities to promote legal accountability or correct prosecution and serious punishment of the sex offender. Additionally, provide victim and witness of sexual crime with legal protection and social assistance through access to legal counseling, lawyer representation, care shelter, and other social services to ensure child victims are recovered, well prepared, and stay in good mood to testify against the offender. As I am sure everybody is aware, child sex tourism is a global phenomenon and also a very sensitive issue in Cambodia. Literally, it is the most horrific crime, if not the worst, that can be perpetrated against children. Therefore, the world should interrelate and share resources to put an end to it.
Child exploitation within Europe is still a problem, and emergency measures should be taken to address the issue. I will show a few cases that we have faced in our work of child sexual exploitation within Europe. In 2005, Terre conducted a 3-month investigation in Italy, in Rome. And during this investigation, we came across a high number of Romanian unaccompanied children who were offering sexual services in exchange of money. Then the situation of these children changed from one case to another. In some of the cases, the money went completely to the child. In other cases, the money went to a third party. When we speak about exploitation, it can occur in different forms. It can be sexual exploitation, but it can be also exploitation for forced labor and so on. The reasons behind vulnerability are different, and they exist in Europe as much as everywhere. Some of the reasons regard the particular family or community status of a child. For example, in Europe, we are all aware of the situation of Roma, which has been a group which has been discriminated for very long in different countries within Europe.
Accor has joined ECPAT network very recently, quite recently, let's say in 2001, and we rely on its expertise to implement effective actions in the field of child sex tourism. Among the action we are implementing with them, we act in doing staff training within our activities to raise customer awareness, people coming in our hotel. We also try to adapt the code of conduct, ECPAT, and World Travel Tourism Organization code of conduct document, which is a document that sets the principle for an active policy against child sex tourism. Also, we are, Accor is a member of the steering committee of this code of conduct. For the future, we really want to strengthen our commitment worldwide, to expand our commitment in Southeast Asia, in Latin America, in sub-Saharan countries, but also in Europe, where it is more difficult to tackle this issue, as often, let's speak about the western part of Europe, for France, England, Switzerland, Holland. A lot of work still has to be done in order to make our guests aware of this dramatic issue of child sex tourism.
To me, it is certainly clear that many of the things that have been said are addressed also by the declaration that was developed by Terre and that was signed already by a number of my colleagues. But of course, there is a wider problem as well, and I think it has also been addressed. There is part of it is prosecution, but there is a social side to this as well, which is something that we need to address, and that is perhaps in some ways much more complicated than changing laws. Changing laws and implementing them is difficult enough. But if you go in the social sphere, it is even more complicated. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't continue to deal with it and increasingly deal with it. We are considering whether, with the declaration that has been produced, whether we shouldn't turn this into one of these so-called people's initiatives. The new treaty, if we get it, offers this opportunity, the possibility to collect 1 million signatures so that an issue is put on the European agenda. Not that this issue is not on the European agenda. Clearly, both the European Commission and the Parliament are working on it, but on the side of certainly some of the member states, it leaves something to be desired. And by going out and trying to attract such a large number of people across the European Union would certainly put the issue politically on the agenda in a way that makes it inescapable